don't bring your kids into the division of the parents. We actually fell out of relationship with my dad. There was a few years we didn't see him at all. In the meantime, my dad got remarried, had another child. I only met my little sister when she was 6. So there's a big gap in my childhood where he had no involvement. And that didn't do me good. As a boy, as a son, it definitely left a wound that I had to then get healed in my adulthood.
Okay.
So I had a rejection wound for sure, had very low self-worth, very low self-identity. The easiest way is to take down a church is just to take down the leadership. So it's vital that the leadership and their family are healthy. Where I wish couples, the moment there's a niggle or something we can't get past or we're bumping heads too much, okay, let's go to someone to help give us biblical advice and take us through this. So my wife and I practice that.
Hi everyone, welcome to Motivation Corner, the biggest podcast in the world, and welcome to yet another beautiful, inspiring conversation and episode that we're going to be having today. First thing first, guys, I just want to announce that we have a curious child sponsoring us with fresh and clean water for this episode and more other episodes coming. So guys, let's say halala to Curious Child. Yeah, and also guys, as you can see, my nails, they are done by Yolis Beauty Bar. So they are also the sponsors. They're like, but again, we want you to look beautiful because you like to use your hands when you're talking. Let us make your hands beautiful. So thank you so much, guys. And please, guys, go buy the water and please visit them for your nails. And so thank you so much, guys. And if you are here for the first time, please subscribe to the channel so that we can grow. And these messages, whatever episode, the conversation that we're having, they can reach as many people as possible. Because as I told you, this is Motivation Corner, your dose of inspiration. Okay, guys, today I'm so honored. I managed to get an invitation accepted by our very own Pastor Ryan from New Life Church. Thank you so much, Pastor Ryan, for Thank you for coming.
Thank you for inviting me to Motivation Corner. And well, what a blessing to be here. Really, it's an honor. So thank you.
Thank you so much. Yeah, so I can imagine the church is big, so you must be busy. But for you to get that 1 hour for me, I'm really feeling privileged and very blessed.
Thank you. You know, I fully believe in communicating with people on these kinds of platforms.
Yeah.
Because when you have people in person, it's great. I love in-person things, but you've got one shot and one moment to talk to people. What I love about these platforms is people can listen, rewind, share. You kind of never know who's going to be blessed by it.
Yes.
So I don't see these as small things. I think they're very important.
No, thank you guys. As you heard, the pastor said these are very big and very inspiring things to be doing. And I also love that it's going to reach even people that you were not going to even be able to talk to in person.
Yeah, 100%.
Yes. Yeah, so let's start from who is Pastor Ryan? Apart from being a Pastor Ryan, where was Pastor Ryan, the background? Where was he born? And let's start there.
Okay, so where was I born? I was born in Kriel, so just down the road.
Kriel?
Yeah.
Oh, wow, yeah.
So we're here now in Emalahleni, but I was born down the road. Kriel didn't have hospitals, so I was actually born in Bethel. So my parents had to go next door to Bethel. But for the first 6 years of my life, I lived in Kriel.
Yeah, okay.
So I'm a local in Mpumalanga, born and bred. I've lived in some other provinces. We lived in Natal for a while.
Yeah.
In Gauteng for a while. But in 97, we came back home. We came to Witbank.
So you went to school here?
Went to high school here.
High school. Did you go to tertiary?
I did in Pretoria.
Okay.
Yeah, studied at the University of Pretoria.
What did you study?
Human resource management.
Human resource?
So
but you have it here at TUT.
I have a degree in HR, but we didn't have the TUT. Remember, I've been out of school now many years. I won't tell you, but I matriculated in 2000. So we didn't quite have that set up when I was studying. So I went to Pretoria.
Okay. So the reason I'm asking all of this, I want to find out, when did the pastor thing come? Like, how did you know that you're going to be a pastor? Or is it something that is passed through since your dad might have been a pastor? So you like taking over?
Look, my parents were pastors when I was born.
Okay.
They were senior pastors of a church in Kriel, but it didn't go very well. when I was 6 years old, it came out that my father had had about 8 affairs with women in the church. So overnight, we kind of fled that town, and I was no longer a pastor's kid. And my parents' marriage didn't survive very long. When I was 9, they got divorced.
Oh.
So I think in that moment, when that all imploded, it was very public and very ugly. I definitely saw the politics of church and the ugliness of church. Mm-hmm. But when we fled that town, we went to another town in Natal called Escort.
Okay.
And there we just experienced the love of God, like through the church. The church put us through school, got us accommodation, fed us, clothed us. Like there was just an outpouring of love.
That was you and your mom.
And my sister.
Okay. Yeah.
So my mom was always sure that we should be attending church and part of a church community. So my whole life we went to church.
Okay.
And when we moved to Witbank, we joined New Life Church. So I was a teenager when we came here, and I joined the church. I never thought I'd be leading that church.
Yeah.
And then after church, after school, I did a year of Bible school. And because I love God and I love serving in the church, I've always believed in the local church because I've seen the power. I've seen what it does when it works well. Mm-hmm. But I didn't want to be a pastor. I desperately did not want to be a pastor. So I was like...
Why is it? Sorry. Why didn't you want to?
Because I'd seen politics.
Oh.
I didn't have rose-colored glasses. You know, a lot of people outside of church think it's glamorous.
Yeah.
I knew it wasn't glamorous. I knew it was hard work. And I think growing up with my parents' divorce, we struggled a lot. Like we were kind of on the brink of poverty. We lived off donations. And in my mind, I just didn't want that kind of life. So in my mind, church or ministry equaled poverty. So that was for me like, no. So I wanted to study something corporate.
Yeah.
So at the end of my first year of Bible school, there was talks about, hey, should I do ministry? And I was like, no, like I'm not interested in that. I just want to go get a corporate job, want to make money, you know.
Yeah.
So went to varsity, joined a church in Pretoria, was very involved. I used to do ministry through hip-hop Christian dance.
Oh, wow.
So I was doing that on campus. We had a dance ministry. We toured South Africa with a ministry. So we were doing a lot of ministry, but I didn't want to be a pastor.
Yeah.
And then in my third year of varsity, remember I was having a quiet time with God one morning, and I felt very convicted. I got on my knees, and I said, God, I think, well, I know I'm busy writing the script for my life. Mm-hmm. I've taken control of my life. And I said, God, you can do anything you want with my life. And I remember saying, even ministry, right? So that was me saying, okay, God, you take control. 2 weeks after that prayer, out of the blue, suddenly I get a phone call from this church, New Life Church, saying, can I please join their team as a youth pastor? Now, there was no talk about this. There was no heads up. I hadn't seen that church for almost 3 years.
Wow.
So I was like, no. And I remember the first thing I thought of was, why did I pray that prayer? You know, because I felt like now God had me. Like I just said, God, I'll do anything, even ministry. And so what I realized in my heart is that I had kind of decided that I would do anything for God, but be poor. God, I'll do anything for you, but I won't be poor for you.
Yes.
Right. So that was so materialism and money.
So that was your negotiation. Like, God, I can do this, but let me not.
Yes, I think that was my God, I'll do anything for you. So God wanted to address it in my heart. He's like, no. You must be willing to do anything for me, even if it means being poor. You know, you must be willing to do anything for me, even if it means I send you to the desert. Don't call me Lord and say no, because then I'm not Lord. Mm-hmm. No Lord isn't a sentence, right? Mm-hmm. By me saying no, I've nullified the Lord. If he's Lord, it's always yes, Lord.
Yes.
So I was saying no, Lord, because money, I think, had become a bit of an idol.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
It had become more important for me to have financial security than for me to obey God.
Or rather, your fear of seeing what poverty can do. Yeah. So it made you to feel like money is more important.
Yes, I want to serve God, but I want to be secure financially. Mm-hmm. So the church, for some reason, they gave me 2 months to decide if I want to come on staff if I want to be the youth and children's pastor.
Yeah.
And I took the full 2 months because it took about 2 months for me and God, for me to really surrender.
Yeah.
To say, God, even if it means financial struggle, I'll say yes to you.
Okay.
I'll do it.
Yeah.
And so I agreed to join the staff team at New Life Church. And now I've been on that same team for 21 years.
Wow, what a great story! But also, since you touched on the issue of divorce as a young man at that time, how did the divorce shape your life? Because I think I got divorced in 2022, and I'm raising 2 young men.
Okay.
So I just wanted to see what to avoid and what to do for them in.
I think
this
the
situation.
church and people have a lot more wisdom now than they did back then when handling divorce. When my parents got divorced, we were the only kids that we knew of with divorced parents. It was a rare thing.
Yeah, yeah.
And so there wasn't a lot of wisdom. The church had a lot of judgment, didn't have a lot of support for divorced parents, and didn't train parents on how to do divorce well. Not that I think we should divorce well, but you know what I mean? Like, when that does happen, because it does happen, how do we do this in a way that doesn't hurt our children as much? So some advice I always give is don't bring your kids into the division of the parents. I think we were kept away from our father because there was a lot of hurt, a lot of court battles. He didn't pay maintenance. So there's just a lot of between my mother and father, a lot of fighting. It was very toxic. It was a horrible divorce. Wasn't amicable or peaceful at all.
Yeah.
But we were brought into that. So we would hear from both sides about how terrible the other person is.
Yeah.
And because of that, we actually fell out of relationship with my dad. There was a few years we didn't see him at all. In the meantime, my dad got remarried, had another child. I only met my little sister when she was 6. So there's a big gap in my childhood where he had no involvement. And that didn't do me good. As a boy, as a son, it definitely left a wound that I had to then get healed in my adulthood.
Okay.
So I had a rejection wound for sure, had very low self-worth, very low self-identity. I was cripplingly shy. I struggled to look people in the eyes. The idea that I would be like some kind of public speaker would have been insane to me.
Yeah.
So there was a lot that I had to deal with to function as an adult, as a pastor, as a husband, as a father. So I think maintaining the relationships with the children with both parents is almost the best advice I can give. And no matter where you are and how hard it is, keep the children in Christian community.
Yeah.
Because they can leave your home, maybe even not liking you, but if they don't like God, you've got a problem. Because the only one who can heal them really
is God.
God. So, and if they love God, they will love you because they have to, because they're commanded to love, know. So it's just to really make sure that relationship with God is, I think, priority in your home.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we sort of a little bit touching on the topic of divorce. I told one friend of mine that I'm going to be talking to a pastor.
Yeah.
Because you are the first pastor guest.
Oh, really?
Having. Yes.
Thank
you. So she said, as parents, when is the right time to say we've tried all our best and we are divorcing?
Yes.
When do you, as a pastor, will you maybe find yourself in a situation and say, okay, I understand Mrs. Who and who, it's okay. You can proceed with the decision when? That's what she wanted to ask. Because I've told her of my experience, but she wanted to hear pastor's view.
So I'm glad I don't know your story because I can also just talk really freely.
Yes.
The job of the pastor is to always be the reference for the word of God. Like that's our job.
Yeah.
Our job as a pastor is never to come with our opinion or our point of view. Mm-hmm. If we're doing it well, we should be representing the point of view of the Bible. So Scripture makes it very clear the parameters for divorce. If you're talking about what's legally permitted in the kingdom of God, then there has to be some kind of infidelity or adultery. And that becomes the only suitable reason for divorce. And you don't have to walk through that door just because the door's opened. I've seen many couples successfully come through an adultery, but God does give an out. Like if there's a partner that's unfaithful, you have an out now. Because that's a very hard thing to walk through. And in a sense, that person's broken covenant by being unfaithful. So you have the permission to leave if someone's been unfaithful. Besides that, there isn't really grounds spiritually for divorce. But that doesn't mean you must stay in any environment that's toxic or abusive, right? So we always encourage people that are in that kind of environment. Maybe there's physical abuse, sexual abuse, emotional abuse, verbal abuse. Get safe, but you don't have to divorce. That separation becomes your weapon to say, sort yourself out. We're not coming back. Get help, get therapy. I'm not divorcing you, but you need to sort yourself out because this isn't good. That's not how you should treat me. That's not how you should treat the kids. So I don't think we should tolerate abuse ever of any kind.
Yeah.
I think it's good to almost demand that those things get worked on. But when we're talking about that D word, that divorce word, then from a spiritual point of view, it's really only in the realm of adultery.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. I hope, Paula, you answered. Yeah.
Might not be what she wants to hear because it's hard. Relationships are hard. I've been married now 19 years.
Yeah.
And they're not easy things.
They are not. They are not. They really are. So it takes, let's go back to you being the pastor. So you were now a youth pastor. Then when did you graduate to being now the senior pastor of this big, big church?
So I had the same response to being a senior pastor as I did to being a pastor.
How?
God got me in to being on staff and being a pastor. And then I said, Lord, fine, I'll do this, but anything but senior pastor. Please, that's what I do. So I've kind of learned now, whatever I say no to, God will test me on that, right? So now I'm saying, Lord, I don't want to go to Hawaii. But no, he knows my heart. I didn't want to lead the church. I never thought it was glamorous. I could see the weight of it, the responsibility of it. So for a few years, I was a youth and children's pastor. Okay. And then I became what we called the creative leader. So I handed the youth ministry over and we started kind of really bringing creativity into the church. And I started teaching on Sundays, just like once a month or every second month. And then I became an associate pastor. And then our senior pastor at that point immigrated. He announced that he was immigrating. But when he immigrated, so, New Life was already quite a large church. There's several hundred people in the church. When he announced he's immigrating, I was only 28. So I was very young. And then they asked me to take over the church.
Not that young. Remember Jesus Christ?
I know, yes.
Did all these
when
things.
You compare it to that, but he's Jesus Christ. It's like he was far wiser than I was.
Yeah.
So at 28, they asked me to take over. And I was kind of terrified. I was like, I really don't know if I want to do this. So my wife felt the same as me. She was like, hey, that's a hard life. Like, she's not sure she wants to be like, the first lady of the church. It's a big responsibility. So for me, I was like, okay, Lord, if she says yes, I'll do it. Because in my heart, she was never going to say yes. And then out of the blue, my wife just said, babe, maybe we should do it. And I was like, Lord, how did you do that? You tricked me twice. So then I was like, okay, Lord.
Yeah, you really wanted to ask her, but
why? Why did you do that? And I'm sure there's many times she's regretted that because it's not easy. It's not an easy position. But then, so there was a 3-year handover. And at the age of 31, I stepped into the senior pastor role. Yeah. And in the same weekend, my daughter was born. So, one of my daughters, because I have 7 kids.
You have 7 kids?
I have 7 kids, yes. So my wife and I have adopted 4. We've had 3 biological kids. So 3. It's a big family.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. So, that same weekend, I got 2 babies because I got the church and I got Becca.
Double barrel of a blessing.
Yes. And now it's 11 years ago. You know?
11 years ago.
Yeah.
How time flies.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And you keep saying it's you thought it's challenging. What are the challenges of being a senior pastor of a big church?
Ministry is people.
Yeah.
People are messy.
True.
And I mean, that's okay. That's what ministry is. Ministry isn't events and preaching, and ministry is people. You know, those events, that church meetings, all made up of people. And people are broken, unreliable, unfaithful, unkind, critical, just like I am. So we all
expectations.
they have expectations. They're hard to please. They're easily offended. You know, and so this is who we're called to love. And that's a job, is to love anyway, to walk towards the mess, to be Jesus, even when it's hard.
Christ-like.
So, and so then you're also leading people spiritually. So there's a weight to that, because I've had to realize that there's people who will base their entire theology and relationship with God on what I preach,
Yeah.
because they don't even sometimes check. But that's a massive weight, because what they believe about God
It's on
is
you.
often determined by what I say.
Yeah.
You know, and if I miss it, I've seen, like, if I miss it, then they're going to miss it. Like, if I don't hear from God, like, it's going to have a direct impact on them. If I don't see vision or where God wants us to go, it has an effect sometimes on their family or their spiritual growth. So there's a lot of spiritual labor, and then there's a lot of emotional labor, because one moment you're a counselor, the next you're doing a wedding, the next you're burying someone, the next you're a mediator, you're trying to calm people down, the next you're giving people spiritual advice, and then you're a boss. You know, I've got like over 20 staff at the church, so now I'm doing HR meetings, and it's just like, so there's just so many hats you have to wear. So we call it emotional and spiritual labor, you know. There's just a lot of pouring out in that role. And there's a lot of eyes on you the whole time. So that
You're not just living for yourself. You're unlike me.
Yeah. Like, if I walk in the mall, my family gets so frustrated, because it's, you know, people just, they see you and they only see you in that role. So I'll be eating supper with my family, and someone will call me to their table and say, please pray for us. And so my family's like, you know, we want him now, it's our turn. So it's those kind of things, I think, that make the role difficult. But I'll say the experience of being used by God and seeing people come to salvation far outweighs, you know, it's the biggest privilege of my life.
Yes.
It's hard, but
Yeah.
I'm so grateful God put me in that position. I'm so grateful I get to use my life
Yeah.
for this. And I've seen now that everything God was building in me, even those experiences that I saw as negative, they were training me for the mess.
Yeah.
You know, I came from a very messy family. I'm not scared of mess now.
Yeah.
Not scared of conflict.
You know how to handle, how to
Yeah.
confrontational.
You know, I'll be doing marriage counting, and the couples are shouting at each other. Don't panic, because it's like, I grew up in this. Just calm down, sit down. You know, it's just like, so it's just,
Yeah.
all those experiences shape me. And so now I'm like, God, you were just building something. You know, you were doing this work. You put gifts and talents in me that were just for this moment and just for this purpose. So when you realize, okay, I was really made for this, that's very fulfilling. So it's hard, but I don't want to take it. It's also, what a privilege
Yeah,
to
it's
get to use your
fulfilling.
life for God.
Yeah.
But nothing that's good is easy.
True.
And nothing that's going to build the kingdom will be without spiritual resistance. Mm-hmm. So anything you're doing for the Lord, the devil never watches you go close to God and goes like, oh, yay. No, like if you're moving close to the Lord, the devil's like, okay, let's get her. Let's get him. What's worked in the past? What do you struggle with? What are the things that always trip you up?
Yes.
What distracts
Your
you? What hurts you?
triggers.
What leads you to sin?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's just do that again. It's worked before. Mm-hmm. And so, you know, that's the thing, is there's a lot of spiritual resistance in ministry that it's hard to explain until you're in it.
Yeah.
We've had some people step off staff and they're like, oh, my word, I feel so light, because it's like you just don't have that barrage of a spiritual attack the whole time, you know?
Yeah, I think I came in Witbank 2005 as a first year TUT, and when I came here, we used to go to the church there was this afternoon thing that we did on Wednesday. It was called Explosion
Okay.
or what, with, I forgot this couple, black couple.
Yes.
Then later on we left, went to Gateway, the black church. Yeah, because we like how we dance.
Yes.
But then I recently came back.
Yeah.
Yeah, because my kids, they love it there.
Yes.
So I'm going for them most of the time because
Yeah.
I want them to have a relationship with God. I'm having a relationship with God, but if they feel comfortable here,
Yes.
let's do it here.
I
Because
mean,
for me,
I give parents a warning: don't bring your kids to our church unless you're sure you want to be in our church.
yeah,
Because we will ruin every other children's ministry for them.
Yeah.
They won't we have such a good children's ministry, and I say that with
it's
confidence
brilliant.
because I've heard the story again and again.
Yeah.
People keep coming to me and say, we're here for our kids. They just love it here. And this is very much in our heart, Our children are important,
yes,
and we desperately need them to discover God and have
Yeah.
experiences with Him, because that's our legacy.
yes,
We're going to be gone one day.
yes.
Like, who are we going to leave this, the ministry to? It's going to be them.
Yeah,
So
it must go on.
we do pay a lot of attention to that, and I love hearing these stories of parents who are happy. And my kids love the church,
Yeah, no, they do.
and
they
they're involved,
do.
and it's the biggest blessing.
Yeah, I've been to like maybe two churches in Wheatbank, and then I came to this one, and they were like, "Mommy, we want to stay here." So as we continue, like I came back and we're staying, and I remember one day we were told that you're going on sabbatical. I was like,
Yes.
"Wow, what a church!" The
Oh, wow.
pastor goes to sabbatical. Of course, in other churches, I've never had the pastor say he's going on rest like for 3
Oh.
months. They forever preaching. So
For real?
how
Is that was that an odd thing for you?
it was not really in a bad way, not in a bad way.
Yeah.
It was
Surprising
a beautiful
thing, yeah.
that a person is given time to spend time with his family and
Yeah.
just not, like you said, it's a spiritual and emotional labor. So
Yeah.
we're told, like, don't call him for anything unless I don't know, but
Yeah.
just give him time with his family. So I love that.
Yes.
How the church come up with that? Maybe how can the other churches learn? What does it
Yeah.
do to you as a pastor
I'm aware
when you come back?
It's so vital. So in our ministry, you have to be a pastor for 10 years to qualify.
Oh, okay.
Then once you qualify for a sabbatical, which is 3 months off of ministry,
Yeah,
no change in your salary, just a 3 months to rest,
yeah.
then you get that every 5 years. So it takes 10 years to qualify, and then every 5
5
years,
years.
you get 3 months off.
Yeah.
So it wasn't part of our church's culture. It's something I brought in when I took over the church.
Yeah.
And it's because I'd seen other churches internationally and some of the larger churches in our country. I'd seen them practice this. And I got burnt out as a pastor, and I saw other people around me getting burnt out, and I'd see people in other churches getting burnt out. And so I just started to see the importance of rest.
Yeah.
Because we can sometimes forget, like, one of the easiest ways to take down a church is just to take down the leadership. So it's vital that the leadership and their family are healthy, because that's an easy target,
Yeah.
to take out the whole ministry. So every 5 years, our pastors get rest. Yeah. To try catch up, we kind of say it's like just to give your soul an opportunity to catch up. So just to give your soul an opportunity to process. I'm sometimes amazed because we're changing, hats so quickly, and you go from this funeral and then you go to that thing, and then so you don't really have time to process. You don't really have time to think about, or you hear crazy stories. I'm the director of our children's home, so we're getting orphans in the whole time. The stories we hear, it keeps you up at night, So there's so much emotional stuff you're dealing with. But you're just going from the next thing to the next, and you get up Sundays, you got to preach. You're leading a prayer meeting, then you're leading a course. So it's just there's no time to recover.
Okay.
And so what I find so great about sabbaticals is just time to recover. Just spend time with God. And I'm often very surprised in my sabbatical time what comes up. And I'll suddenly be remembering this event that happened 4 years ago, or 3 years ago.
Yeah.
And I get to sit with it now and really
No.
pray through that process, journal, and recover from that. And so I always come back from sabbatical just on fire. So refreshed, just ready to conquer the world. Normally have fresh vision, fresh ideas. We're banned from attending church for those 3 months.
You don't even come to church.
We're not allowed to.
That's nice.
Not allowed to step foot on the property.
Yeah, because emotionally
Yeah.
Once you see something, you will be automatically worried.
And I'm quite, it would be terrible for me to see something that maybe needs to change and then not be able to address it for 3 whole months.
Yeah.
It would be torture. So, yeah,
So
you
do
just
you go
stay
to
away.
church?
You're not allowed to.
Not any other church. You just stay at home
Yeah.
with your family.
So when I was at the coast of my sabbatical, I did sneak into, I hope the elders aren't listening. I just sneak, because it's also nice for me to visit churches, because I never get the chance. You know, I'm always at our church.
In your church,
it's very refreshing to me to be able to visit other churches. So yeah, I think there was 2 churches I just snuck into, but generally you're not supposed to attend, or we have to leave all our WhatsApp groups. You know, it's just a complete break from ministry.
Yeah, you're saying that helps you to bring you back to yourself again.
Yeah.
But do pastors go for counseling, like a therapy with a like psychologist?
I hope so. Such a fan of counsel.
Okay.
And so is the Bible. There's so much wisdom in counsel. So I've been to counseling a bunch. I've spoken to therapists. My wife and I have gone for marriage counseling when we've needed to. And I always try and encourage that. We've got to kind of break the taboo. Because as a counselor, I wish sometimes people had come earlier. Because they only come to my office when they're dead. And now they need a resurrection. Where if they'd just come a year before, maybe they just needed healing. You know, like spiritually, their marriage is maybe, it's so finished by the time they're like, okay, let's try counseling. Where I wish couples, the moment there's a niggle or something we can't get past, or we're bumping heads too much, okay, let's go to someone to help give us biblical advice.
Yeah.
And take us through this. So my wife and I practice that.
I also know someone who said him and his wife, they go to counseling, marriage counseling, every 3 months.
Oh, wow.
Whether there's problems, whether there's no problems, because they said a person changes. In the whole 3 months, a lot can happen. So you need to go back to each other again.
It's so good.
To be so.
And I have pastors, there's quite a few pastors in this city who come to me for counsel.
Okay.
And so I think it's very good that pastors are doing that. We have the ability to talk through things, and we're still human beings, you know. I don't know, there is this idea that God has like some special category for people.
Yes, we have from us, from outside, we like, to a point where I'm even asking myself, how does your day look like a normal day for you?
And people are like,
in our mind, it's like, oh, maybe he wake up and it's prayers, it's everything. Like, and when you get tempted, you just know what to do. So we have that mentality that you're perfect. Of which
I've had people say to me like, you know, I've got 7 children, and they'll say, do your children ever fight? I'm like, do they ever not fight? Like, what are you even doing? Oh, yes, of course my kids fight. I've got a 21-year-old all the way down to a 7-year-old, and my wife and I in the last 2 weeks have also taken our 2-week-old baby. There's just chaos in our house, you know. So yeah, I think even some of my kids' friends have been scared to visit because they think we're just going to take communion and pray, you know. So it's a real thing. It's just such a false view of us just being as human as you, and we're just wanting to do God's work.
Yeah.
But we have the same struggles, same thoughts, we're in the same world. So it's just like, hopefully we can model victory though, over some of those things. Hopefully we can model godliness. But it's, for us to get there is as hard as it is for you to get there.
Yeah.
It's not easier for us.
It's not. I'm sure even for you guys, it's even harder.
Yeah.
Because you have a lot
resistance.
Yeah. So and you keep mentioning children, and that's what also warms my heart. Like what the church is doing for the city, for the poor, and for all those kids who sometimes don't know where to go. How did it start? Because for me, like I said, I came back and I knew even when I was not coming, but I know it started somewhere, but not in the early 2000s. So how did it come about, the children's home and the adoption and that gate? I don't know what you call it, where a woman once they gave birth and they don't want
a baby box.
A baby box, yeah. Well,
so my wife and I just personally have always had a heart for adoption. We actually spoke about adopting on our first date.
Wow.
So we both were like, hey, this is something I want to do. And we were like in agreement already. I mean, that's far before we got married, but it was just in our hearts very early. I've always knew I wanted to adopt, and so did she. So it's something we very much had in common. But then when I took over the church, we just started to see in that season, and there was just like radical growth. The church almost tripled in like 4 years. It was just like, okay, whoa, like God was just doing something crazy. And I felt very convicted that the church can't grow without the work we're doing in our community growing with it. So if the church is growing, the work we're doing amongst the poor and underprivileged has to grow.
Oh, as well.
There's only one people group that God identifies with, and it's the poor. He says, what you do to them, you do to me.
Yeah.
You ignore them, you ignore me. You give to them, you give to me. So there's no like debate. We have to be responsible to just do our part with the poor and the underprivileged. And so we started to increase the work we were doing, but we felt like we need a project that really can be a ministry of its own to our city and a beacon of like God's kingdom, what's possible in God's kingdom. And so we started just doing some research. I brought someone on staff to just lead that ministry, asked her to do some research. And what we saw, we kind of expected we would see, is that there is like a bit of there's an orphan crisis in our city and in this country.
I think in the country.
In the country, I mean, there's more orphans.
In the continent.
Yeah, there's more orphans in Africa than there are people in New York, which is the biggest city in the world. So there are so many orphans, and just there's not enough space. You know, most of the children's homes are full, and a lot of them are just really badly run. And so there's a lot of people who are themselves in poverty who will open their homes for the grant, you know, and just live off that, and the kids actually get put. So we just saw there was a big issue here. And so we just started dreaming big. You'll see the homes are big and beautiful and bright. And
I haven't been inside, but it's beautiful.
They are amazing homes.
Yeah.
So for us, a big value was dignity. Because when we started doing our research and we visited some of these homes, they were very sad places.
Yeah.
These homes were sad. And the children were embarrassed to be there. And the attitude was like, well, these kids are getting home. They can't be fussy. So they just go, you know, you get the second hand of everything and nothing's nice. And there's a lot of shame and embarrassment. So we're like, can we try, what's the best we can give these kids? They've already lost everything. Yeah. So then let's try give them something that they can be proud of, like a home that they can be like, hey, I live there. And like, I want my friends to know I live there, and I want them to come over for the parties. And so we started planning. We got a committee together. And we got funding. We started building, and it's just been a beautiful project, incredibly hard, probably one of the hardest things we've ever done, but very rewarding to see these children's lives change, you know. And so, that was like 7 years ago now, I think, that we opened our first home. Wow. And we've had over 20 adoptions happen through the home.
So, like, when you find these kids, there are people who will come and say, can I adopt this one?
Yeah.
So
we didn't expect that. We thought, because we've built 4 homes, and each home functions as its own family.
Oh.
So each home has about 8 to 9 children, and that becomes your family. So in our minds, we were going to say, okay, these children are right at the end, so no one's adopted them. They're older, so they're not babies. So the chances of them being adopted is very small. Mm-hmm. So we're going to bring them in this home, and now they'll function as a family. These are your brothers and sisters, and this is now your mom and your dad. Okay? So they live there permanently.
There are people who stay with them full time.
Yeah, they're employed to be their parents.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, they're house parents.
Honorable job.
It is.
Yeah.
Hard, but
It
honorable.
is, yeah.
So what we didn't expect, though, is that as, you know, we have a serving culture at our church.
Yes.
People really serve. So we've encouraged them to serve at the children's home. And what we didn't really expect is that a lot of volunteers now fall in love with these kids because they're serving with them.
Yeah, oh.
And so it's been beautiful to see children just coming out of this home and just being adopted by families in the church. Many, many, many. So, we facilitated now like over 20 adoptions.
Wow.
There's like 4 happening just this year. So it's been its amazing ministry. And it's very important that the church realizes in the world that this is our problem to fix.
Yes.
We are responsible as churches for the orphans and the widows. We keep looking at organizations and government and private industry say, you fix it, but actually Jesus told us to fix it,
Yeah.
right? He said that's true religion, looking after the widows and orphans, so which we read about in James. So we have to take responsibility for those members because they're the most vulnerable. The children don't have a voice. They don't have the legal rights to hire a lawyer and go to court and sign papers, so they have to have someone who fights for them. And I'm blessed that we have that home.
It's really a blessing. I love it. It's
Yeah.
one of the things that, some people are very skeptical with offering and all that.
Yeah.
But when I think of that, I'm like, God, I'm just going to give almost anything, because you can see that the church is actually doing something for the community or for the people in the city. So it's humbling me. It's making me even teary because I love it. It's one of the things that I'm proud of, to be a member of the church, knowing that that's what the church stands for and what it does.
And it does take just everyone being involved. Those kind of organizations cannot run without an army of people saying, hey, I'll give something, I'll pitch this, I'll drop that off, I'll take some kids to a movie. We've seen, it takes an army. And I'm just grateful that we have that, through the
like
church.
you said, the church has a lot of saving people. They save with their money, with their time, with everything, their hearts.
Yeah, and that's being like Jesus. When it's easy to say I'm going to be like Jesus, but it doesn't matter until you do it.
Yeah.
So it's just to actually be like Jesus for me is seen in our actions when we're really willing to serve and lay our lives down. And then you see how it changes lives. Those kids' lives it's just incredible,
How does one qualify to adopt? Because some people, they can say, I want to adopt, and then later on come to abuse the kid or be toxic. How do you verify? The right word? How do you vet the right parent?
Well, we don't. So as a children's home, we don't take children into our home. They get placed with us through DSD.
Oh,
so we don't find children, we don't place children, we don't take children out of toxic families or, we got no legal right. That's not our place in the legal system.
Yeah.
Our place is once the legal system and the social workers and the Department of Social Services have done all their things and then they need housing for a child, then they get a court order to place a child with us. Same with adoptions. We don't have a say. So when we're saying we're facilitating, what we mean is
it's done legally by government officials.
It's all done through social workers and government officials or adoption agencies. But we're not involved in the vetting or those placements. We simply house a child while they're with us. We love them as much as we can. And when we have people in our church or volunteers wanting to adopt, we just direct them to that child social worker and say, that's who you talk with. And then it's up to that social worker to make sure that family is well vetted.
So this tells me that when a mother places a child in a baby box, you also have to report it.
Yes, and that child doesn't stay with us. They're not donating that child to the children's home.
Is it? No, I thought now you have to take all these small babies.
No. So again, we don't decide where any child goes in the system. So when a baby gets put in the baby safe, we phone the ambulance, we phone the social worker in the area, which in our area is Rata. So then Rata decides, where does this baby go? What place do they need? So they have to follow that research. That's not our role. We don't have any of that say. So, and we see, and it's scary, more often than you think, we have parents coming to the house saying, I want to leave my child here. Maybe once a week.
No, Ryan.
Yeah.
This parent was like, I can't. Oh my God.
So we do have a lot of, or hey, I've just lost my job. Please take this child for 6 months and I'll come get them later, We have a lot of that happening and we just can't. We're just legally
bound,
we'll end up in jail if we do that. So anyone watching who is maybe thinking of dropping their kids off at our children's home, don't do that. That's not how it works.
That's right.
And then on the other side, it's also funny because we've had people thinking kids are available for adoption that aren't. So we had someone from the church and ask, they're like, the pastor, he's got this beautiful little girl called Becca. Can we adopt her? But she's not a biological child. I was like, no, you may not adopt Becca. So there's just a lot of misinformation around.
So also when you adopted your kids, you went through the legal way.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's a massive system. So that was done through Department of Social Services. We didn't even have the children's home at that time. That was all before we built
all right.
the home. Yeah.
No, maybe in my mind I thought you guys just pick and choose. Like,
imagine.
I'll take this one.
No.
Which it was
It's very strictly regulated, and I'm glad it is, because if it's not, that's how human trafficking works. So if anyone has a right to take any child, that's a massive issue. So you have no right to take a child. No one can drop a child off or give up their legal rights to a child without court orders. It's very, very strictly strict. Because we also have an issue with child trafficking.
Yeah, in South Africa.
If people know how big an issue it is, I think they'd be shocked. It's not a small issue. There's a lot of it, because there's a lot of kids on the streets without parents. No one misses them.
Wow. That is a beautiful thing the church is doing, and may God give you more.
Amen.
As the church.
We've got plans to actually just in the last few weeks we've been finalizing plans for a baby center.
Okay.
So where we will be able to house up to 20 babies at the baby home. So that's coming. It will be next to the 4 homes that are there.
Wow.
So we still want to increase, and at some point we want to do what we've done at the church in other cities and towns, because there's a need, So it's all dependent on the funding. If you can get the funding, you can do it. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm just gonna urge all the other pastors, if you're gonna be watching, maybe talk to him.
Get involved, please.
Yeah, there's a lot of need.
Yeah, there is a massive amount, and I thank the churches. We've had great support even from the churches. We've got some churches who every month give to the children's home.
Wow.
So, and that's amazing to me. It's not, they don't make a fuss about it. It's not public. But, there's churches that are really invested in our communities. And so it's beautiful to see.
Yeah, you said there's a lot of regulations and all that. Do the social workers come every now and then to check if all the kids... Oh, wow.
So we've had to hire our own social worker. So once you got a thing of 20 kids, the organizations has to hire a qualified social worker. Mm-hmm. And then every child has their own social worker. Every child in your center.
Is it? This is big, Moz.
So we have 33 kids at the moment. So we're dealing with a lot of social workers.
Who has to come and report on their child? Oh, wow.
Give reports every few months how they're doing. So it's a lot of work.
Yeah. No, I don't think we have time.
No.
Sorry, guys.
To unpack that.
We have to unpack almost everything, but thank you so much for coming. What do you want to say when a person is towards the end of this video as we are now? What do you want them to learn? What do you want them to know? Anything that you want to say?
I think it's always important to live a life of surrender. And when you are trying to control what God wants to do with your life, you realize you're missing out on what God could be doing with your life when you stop trying to take control. I think often we're so focused on praying to God for what we want that we don't often stop and say, what does God want? What's He put in you? And then why does He put that in you? And then how can you use it for Him? Because His plans are far better than yours. And so I've really seen in my life, I'm so glad God ignored my desires. I'm so glad that He ignored my stubbornness, and He really, it does feel like in some ways I didn't even have a choice. Like it all just happened to me, and I'm so glad, because what God had in store for me was just so much better I couldn't have imagined than what I had in store for myself. And I believe that's true for a lot of people. A lot of people are they're in control, and they know what they want, and then they just, they're trying to pray for God to bless their plans rather for them to actually stand in the place God's already blessed. And so, where does God want you? Go there. Don't just go where you want to go. yeah, I think that would be my closing thoughts.
Okay. Yeah, so thank you so much, Pastor, for coming. I was telling my friend to check for you that I'm going to interview you, and then one friend of mine was like, she's a pastor's wife.
Okay.
And she was like, why is the pastor not wearing
A jacket.
a jacket and he's got a tattoo?
Yeah.
What do you say to those people, maybe who might be religious
Yes.
about it?
No, look, religious people won't understand.
Yeah.
The God that I speak to on a Sunday in church is the same one I speak to at home.
In your shower.
In my shower, yeah. So the idea that I need to somehow dress up for him is not something we practice, you know. I think what we've seen is that we've seen a lot of pretense with people who also do that spiritually. So they come to church one way, and then they leave the church, and then they just live such a different way.
Yeah.
In our community, we're really trying to say, let's be real.
Yeah.
We have a real God, and he's interested in your real life, not to pretend, not that part of you that can fake,
Yeah.
hallelujah for 2 hours and then go home and drink and beat your wife up. We want people who bring God into their real life, their everyday living, and live out God's word.
Yeah.
And so, I have a whole sleeve tattoo, so it's massive.
Yeah.
And I think what it does, what's maybe been good, is it kind of, when people come into our church, it almost filters them at the door. Because I know if you can't handle this, you probably won't last in our church.
Yeah.
Because we're not a religious church.
Yeah.
We're very much let's talk about real things. We're going to talk about
spiritual. It's
controversial
about the relationship
things.
with
Yeah.
God. Yeah.
And so, I believe a thing like tattoos is under the Old Testament law, along with eating pork and not cutting your hair and not shaving your beard and not wearing two different types of fabric. It's all part of that same chapter where it says don't have tattoos. And so I often find it's quite funny because the Christians who say, why do you have tattoos? They had bacon for breakfast.
Like, make it
And
balance.
they shaved and their hair's cut. And why did you take that one and say, well, this one still applies?
Yeah.
But then all the others, you have an understanding you're not under the Jewish law because you're living, I'm wearing two different types of fabric at the same time. That was outlawed.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like it shows a religious mindset. And we have to understand the contract that we have with God now is different to the contract that they had in the Old Testament.
All right. Thank you. I hope you are clear. Thank you so much, Ryan, for coming, and I really feel honored.
No, thank you. So do I.
Yeah. I hope someone will take this conversation and be very, very, very inspired. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Until we meet next time, from me, bye.